Little NFL preview for you with Minnesota at Indianapolis. Brian Blessing joined by Monte Skates and Mr. Todd Furman. And let's talk about Minnesota and Indianapolis, guys. 1.5, we'll call the consensus, with Minnesota favored. Total on the game is 44.5. Let's start with the number, fellas. Do you think you're going to see a little bit of movement on the Vikings here as the week progresses?
I believe that the Vikings number will start to creep out a little bit. I know the Colts team has been the trendy team, especially under the leadership of Andrew Luck. But I'm still a little skeptical about this defense. Some questions in the running game. I think Minnesota, you see that number inch up. Be shocked if it got to 3, though.
Yeah, I think I'm with Todd on that. I really have questions about this Colts defense. They're making the transition to the 3-4 here. Mathis did have 2 sacks in their game against Chicago, but when you make that type of transition and you move defensive ends in Freeney and Mathis to basically playing outside linebackers, you're going to have some problems.
Well, it will be a raucous atmosphere as the Andrew Luck era officially begins at home for the Colts. Let's start with Minnesota. Hard-fought game with Jacksonville. They find a way to win a close game, which may not sound like a big deal, but when you got a young quarterback like Christian Ponder and Peterson came back, that's something you can build on, finding a way to win close games. You got to start somewhere.
No, you definitely have to learn to win games at this level. I think many Vikings fans have to be relieved. Peterson, 17 carries, 84 yards, 2 touchdowns. The one concern I have for the Minnesota defense, though, Jacksonville, 9 of 18 on 3rd down. If you can't get off the field in your own building, it'll make things awfully tricky, especially when you go on the road.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. I was impressed, actually, with Christian Ponder. Now, he did not have a touchdown, but he did not throw an interception. He threw for 270 yards in that game. So if they can get him playing without turning the football over, that's going to help them big time, obviously, with Adrian Peterson back relatively healthy there, hopefully. This should be a tough spot for the Colts.
Not a stretch to say that Jared Allen's probably going to introduce himself to the rookie.
I think you'll see him play a big role in this game. The Colts last game, 13 designed running plays. You can't win at this level. I don't care who you have at quarterback. They're going to need to establish Donald Brown if this team's to be successful.
Yeah, and Andrew Luck, he did throw the 3 interceptions at Chicago. He didn't play horribly. He threw for 309 yards in that game. I think it'd be very important if he can cut down on his turnovers. This team could be able to put up some points.
Just listening to what you guys said, we're talking about a total on the game of 44.5. You said the Vikings defense couldn't get off the field against the Jags. Luck's prone to make mistakes, give the opposition a short field, but they can score as well. I think Indianapolis is going to be an over team this year.
I'd have no argument with that. You look at the way they played against the Bears. Jay Cutler, and we know it's a retooled Bears offense and went up and down the field, but you're going to see some issues. Freeney and Mathis are getting old, and like Monte alluded to earlier, this is a team adjusting schemes, and it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, and for this game to get over, I'm going to need to see Minnesota score a few more touchdowns. And they had 4 field goals in that game from a rookie kicker, including one in overtime, to give them the win. So in a few of those situations, let's punch it in the end zone. This could be an over.
Good information from the guys. Minnesota's a 1.5-point favorite in Indianapolis. Again, Andrew Luck gets his career on track at home for the first time. Total on the game is 44.5. You think we see a little push towards the over on the total?
I definitely think we see it start to tick up a little bit. 45 becomes the key number. If we see it get up to 45.5, who knows where it may stop.
All right, great information from the guys. We thank you for stopping by DonBest.com.